I remember just, trying techniques and them totally failing, and then some totally becoming successful. And the ones that were successful are the ones we clung to, and the ones that didn't work, we just threw them out. And I always go back to what Bruce Lee said. He said, use nothing as the way. There really is no path. You just, whatever works, you use it. Whatever doesn't, throw it out.
Hello, my name is Frank Shamrock. I am the 5-time undefeated Ultimate Fighting Champion. And in this program, I would like to show you instant submissions. 5 guaranteed submissions to finish a fight. And to do that, I'll bring in my partner, Kelly Delonte, professional fighter and superhero extraordinaire. Moving right on, first one I want to show you is the front choke. And the front choke is very similar to how it sounds, and it's very instinctual in all of fighting. And in fact, when you're kids and you're messing around, everybody grabs the head and gives the old squeeze of death. I want to show you the proper technique to finish a fight long before it ever gets to the ground or gets that close to you. Now, the way we get into this, or the way you usually get into a front choke, is someone will try and grab your body, grab your hips, waist, clinch you, and try and throw you down. The way you sink in a nice, clean front choke is you have to go all the way across the chin, right underneath the bottom. Once you get underneath the chin and you have control of it, then you want to stick it under your arm. Now, I'm in a front choke position, but the real power of the choke comes when I take all the space away, when I pull that arm all the way up. So you'll see my arm go across and then go up as far as it'll go so there's no space. Once I get that space gone, I'm going to push my hips forward and up. And this is what my front choke looks like. It's a really, really effective choke. The reason why it's so effective is all of this is just gone. The forearm is completely across it. I'm going to push my hips in and pull my arm up and try and lift him up by the front of his neck. That's where the real choking comes in. Let me do it again together. So, all the way across, you can see my hand through here. I'm going to take away all the space, and I'm going to push my hips in as far as they'll go. And you see he has to rise up if he wants to keep breathing, because I now have all of his body weight resting on his neck. So that's how you do the front choke from standing. Someone tries to grab you or get you in a standing position. That's how you're going to sink it in. You can also push him into that position. If I'm grabbing onto him and I want to front choke him, I can pull him over here to this position where I'm choking him. That's really effective if there's a lot of different things going on in your fight. Wrestling, punching, things get mixed up. All I have to do is snap the head down a little bit, and I've got him really tight in a great position to throw my front choke in there. Let's turn, let's see. I want him to see this from a different angle. So let's do this. Let's turn your back, like right over here. I want to come from over here. I want him to see how this arm is really tight and there's no space in there. The less space you have in the hold, the tighter the choke is going to be. So get all the space out and pick your hand and arm up as far as you can go. That's when you've got the head perfectly, and you can really throw those hips in there and sink your choke in. So that's the front choke from standing. Front choke you can also do when you're on the ground. Like if he comes in to take me down and I sprawl my body out and leave it on top of him. I'm in a different position, but I still have the same choke. This front choke is a little bit different because I'm not going to be able to get my arm all the way through there, get a nice tight hold on his neck. Instead, I'll just slip both hands underneath his chin and pull him forward. But watch my hands. They're going to stack on top of each other, and I'm actually going to slide them underneath his chin and pull him into my body. That's where the choke comes in. So if I'm in a down position and I got him tight, I'm going to put those hands all the way through and right under the chin. Now I have him in the front choke position. All I have to do is pull and squeeze these in and push my stomach forward. Again, I'm doing the same thing. I don't have the weight of his body choking him, but I have the strength of my arms, and I have the pushing of my chest and stomach out, which tightens up all the space, makes the choke really secure. So again, let's show him like from a sort of live instance, I guess.
Right.
Come in for the takedown. I'll do a bit of a sprawl, get his head nice and far down, using my body to hold the head down. I'm going to slide all the hands in there, pull them in. That's the front choke. Why don't you give me a good tap when you feel it? Nice. So one more. Okay. Now the good thing about the front choke on the ground is he can't go forward anymore. I have all my weight on top of him with my sprawl. Another way to get your hands in there or get him distracted is, once he's down there, you're reaching your hands in there, you can actually take one hand and cover his nose and mouth. Now he's got to breathe. When he goes to breathe, we'll pull the hand down, which will put you right in the choking position. So let's see if we can get it on camera. Maybe you could tweak your head a little bit to the side so they can see.
Right.
This is a great tip and kind of sneaky way to get the hold in without really working for it. Because in order to breathe, he'll pull your hand right to his neck. Come on in for that. Get the nice sprawl, the head down, and I'm going to slide my hands through. If I can't get a good choke, I'll just take it and put it right over his mouth. In order to breathe, he'll pull the hand down. When he pulls the hand down, tighten it back up and throw it in there. Now, he can stand up from here. Go ahead and stand up, Kelly. He can stand up. If I keep the head in the center, I'll keep the choke. If his head goes to the side and he tries to get me down, now I'm back in my standing front choke again. So again, front choke, two different types, on the ground or standing. Very, very effective. Make sure you take all the space out. Make sure you use your hips and your body to get all the energy in there. Our next submission hold is the standing shoulder lock. The reason I call it a standing shoulder lock, I think a lot of people call it different things, is we want to focus the control on the shoulder and then getting some holds from there. So there's a lot of different positions you can get to this from. I always get to it when someone tries to grab me or grab around my body. And what I do is I reach around the shoulder, I grab the shoulder as tight as I can. Because I have control of the shoulder, I can grab his wrist and my wrist, and I can begin my shoulder lock here. Now you can do a lot of different techniques once you have the shoulder. I can throw him, or I can do the hold while I'm standing. I'm going to show you a couple different varieties, but we're going to focus on pinching the shoulder, getting control, getting the lock on the hands. Then you can do whatever you want after that. First thing I want to show you is just doing the lock while standing. Now, once I get control of the shoulder, I'm going to take all of my body weight and I'm going to whip it over my right shoulder and get this arm up as far as I can behind his back. Now, if he gives up on this, I mean, it's a legitimate submission hold, and I'm definitely threatening his shoulder once this goes back up there. If he's good, or he's flexible and active, I may have to continue through on this motion, which is the real technique anyway. So let me show you the first one. It's just a short standing shoulder lock. Control the shoulder, and I'm going to get this all the way up as far as it'll go. That should be enough to get most people. For the ones that are flexible, the ones that have experience, I'm going to use my body weight to make this hold work. The way I'll do that is I grab control of the shoulder, and I'm going to stick my foot inside of his body. I'm actually going to drop on the ground. So all of my weight is going to transfer to his shoulder and drop him on the ground. Let me show you what it looks like. Foot inside, all the way to the ground. That's an interesting one. Yeah. Let's do this from a different angle. See the same stuff. Shoulder grab all the way around. Figure four, nice and tight. And then I'm going to throw my hips and my body to push that thing up. Now I said you can throw from here, and you can. Once you get all the way in, if you want to, you can just stand up and keep pushing this, which will make him go over. And when he goes over, you take your top position, do your lock here, or do another lock on the ground. Let's talk about how you get in this position. A lot of times it's from the clench. A lot of times he'll get in on you or get around your body. Always remember to try and square up to him, reach around the shoulder. Get that tight grip and get that figure four. Figure four and the shoulder lock is what gets you into this position. In wrestling, in fact, Dave Schultz made this very, very popular. In wrestling, he would get the same hold and he would go and just throw people for their life and rip their shoulders out in the process. But we want to finish this one either on our back or while standing, because those are going to be the most effective and probably the safest for us. Let's do the one on our back. So when I go down, Kel, your natural reaction is to roll through because you're experienced.
Correct.
But I just want you to go down like most normal people would go down.
Right.
Like try and stop, maybe stick your other hand out, try and stop yourself. The natural reaction. Here's my position. Put my foot inside, and I'm actually going to fall to the ground. The weight of me falling is going to bring this arm and shoulder up. So here we go. foot inside, falling to the ground. Here's my finishing position. I'm going to bend that as far back as I can. Go ahead and tap when it hurts. Go. Okay. So that's my hold. And again, what we're attacking is the shoulder. So don't get confused about the arm. Leave it at 90 degrees and really grab onto that shoulder as tight as you can. So when you crook it up there and get it behind its back, the tendons will lock up and it'll go to the end. That's what you're looking for, is that locking point. All right, let's change the angles for you so you can see it better. So come over here. Same techniques. Shoulder tight. Grab the wrist. Grab your own. And I'm going to knee inside and just fall right to the ground. And bend this up as far as you can go. As far as you can go. Now, a good tip on the finishing hold of this, a lot of people want to leave this arm up and get it up in the air. But I actually want it to be as close to his back as I can and as far up his back as I can. Because that's exactly where the arm does not go. So that's where I'm going to push it. Right? Oh, yeah. Okay, the other lock from here still deals with shoulder control. But a lot of people, they don't want you to get this figure four. It's a powerful position. You can feel when it's coming. Once I get the shoulder, if I go for the lock here, a lot of people will straighten their arm out. Now, that's a great block to get out of this technique, but there's a secondary counter to that, and that is I won't try and grab my wrist anymore until I slide down to the elbow point. Now I've got his arm completely locked and straight right here. I can finish this right here. How's that feel, Kelly?
Oh, yeah.
So I start with the shoulder. If I go for my hold and he straightens his arm, I'm going to move down to the elbow, right on the point. That'll be my new attacking point. Now that I got his arm straight, I can take him anywhere I want, or I can finish right here. I like to finish standing because I'll give it a good tug, and if it doesn't work, then back right out. Go back to striking again. So we have two types of shoulder locks, one standing and one on the ground, and the straight arm, which starts from the shoulder lock. Those are my 2 or 3 secret submission holds from the standing shoulder. We're going to move on to the arm bar from the guard. This is one of my favorite techniques. And in fact, I set a world record with this technique in the UFC against Kevin Jackson, 1992 gold medalist. I'm sorry. The great thing about this technique is it is a full body movement, but the mechanics of my body, where I'm at, make it really easy for me to move. I'll break it down for you slow, and then we'll show you a couple times really fast. I'll even show you a drill for it, so you can really drill it and become repetitive and have aggressive angles on your attacks. So here we go. My technique is real simple. Anytime I get an arm, I want to grab onto it, try and single it out. I'll take my other hand, I'll reach inside the leg, and I'll turn my whole body sideways and bring my knees up and clamp onto this thing. Now this position is the most important position because that's what controls and holds this arm here. So I want to grab and pinch and hold this thing as tight as I can. Now that I'm in the arm bar position, I can begin my manipulation of it. And right now I'm just using my arm because I got Kelly really tight. The real piece of power is I'm going to push my hips through this, and I can fold that arm right over my hip area. This is the power of the hold. So let me show you again. We'll break it down once more. I get an arm. I'm going to single it out by grabbing it. You can grab it a number of different ways. You can pinch the wrist. You can hold on to it. You can wrap it up. Whatever makes you comfortable. I always do this because it's the quickest and easiest. Once I single out the arm, I'm going to reach inside. I'm going to pull myself with his leg and swing my legs around. Throw them up in the air. Now you notice my position. My hips are up in the air, high and tight on his shoulder. So I'm getting maximum control of that. I'm totally overpowering it. And I can do my finish hold. How's that feel, Kel?
Oh, yeah, that's a sweet spot.
Let's do this. Let's turn a little bit. I want him to see from the head area so I can watch the mechanics of my body as I'm turning. A little bit of turn here. Okay. Same thing. I'm going to single out a hand. Reach inside of the leg. Turn my whole body up and grab. There's my finish. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Control a hand. I'm going to reach inside the leg. Swing my whole body around. Grab up and finish. Be sure that when you get to the height of your power, that you really push them hips in there and make your finish strong. The power is in your hips. As always in everything, the power is in your hips because that's the biggest source you have on your body. Told you I'd show you a drill. Let's show them the drill. Go ahead and straighten your arms up for me. Bring your knee, come up as high as you can. Kelly's going to over-exaggerate this position because he's going to allow me to move around in here. I'm going to try and get my body fluid and comfortable. There's a lot of things going on. The grabbing of the hand, reaching inside the leg, and swinging the feet around. So I want to try and get comfortable and relaxed and breathe through all of that. I need the cooperation of my partner. As always, you've got to have a good partner for this. Thanks, Kelly. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to develop the drill for you. Put my hand on his, reach inside the leg, relax, breathe out my air, go all the way to one side, and I'm going to go right through the center and go right to the next. I want to try and develop it so I can do combinations of this. 3, 4, 5 arm bars in a row. Let me show you what it looks like. Even though I've done this 1,000 times, even my technique after 3 or 4 or 5 gets looser and looser and looser. Just the mechanics of it. When his body moves a little bit and my body moves a little bit, the mechanics change. So each time I go, I have to constantly readjust myself and clamp that nice tight position to make that strong attack. This is a great technique because you're in a negative position. You're on your back, the guy between your legs, and you can do it when someone's punching. You can do it when someone's choking you or grabbing you or trying to hold you. As long as you remain active, you're comfortable moving from side to side to do the technique. You can slap this one on in just a second or two. It's great. The next hold I want to show you is a dynamic hold that not only reverses position, but also gives you a submission. It's called the monkey roll to the knee bar. And it's a bit complicated, but I'll break it down for you real slow and simple. And we'll break all the dynamics apart for you so you understand completely. So let me get in my dog position. Kelly, come on back here behind me. So my monkey roll starts from my dog, which is an all-fours position. Now my biggest problem here is that I have to actually put his leg between my legs or I don't have the knee bar. I can do the monkey roll, but I don't have a hold. So if I want to make an attack on him, I actually have to put his leg between mine. Now let's show him from the front here, Kelly, so they can see. I think they can see down the middle here. You know, if you're in any type of wrestling position and this leg is on the outside, your first and foremost problem is you have to actually make an effort to get the leg in the middle. Once it's in the middle and you can see it or feel it with your foot, you know where it's at, and you can begin executing your hold. So let's turn back this way so you can see the angle of my hold here. All right, so I got the knee in the center. I'm all ready to go. I'm going to build a little bit of power here, which will enable me to either run forward or give me a big hole to run through. For this instance, I'm going to roll right through my own body. Now what I'll do is I'll reach all the way through and grab that knee any way that I can. Best way is just hook your hand inside of the crook of the knee and then do your roll. Once you finish your roll, you'll end up in a nice position here where you got the leg between your legs and you can get a nice tight pinch on it. This is where you begin your knee bar. And let's do it again, and we'll cheat a little bit so I can really show them what the knee bar looks like. And I think we'll do it from like this position. I think this will work the best. Yeah. Here we go. So again, put the leg in the center, build a little power. Got a nice big hole to do my roll. I'm going to roll all the way through and wind up with that leg. We're going to have to cheat a little here, Kelly. Wind up with the leg right between my own, pinch nice and tight. Now where I get the power to do the hold is bring my heels up and tight, 90 degrees, and pinch them knees as tight as you can. You can't really appreciate how hard it is to actually pinch someone's leg and take control of it, especially when they don't want you to. So this is what I always tell people. It's always 2 on 1, feet together, knees together, and 90 degrees. That's how you get that good power source. Once you get that position, then you can work on your hold. And the hold is just like an arm bar, make my attack, good pinch, and I'm going to fold that knee backwards and use the power of my hips to push into that. So I'm going to do it. Go ahead and tap when it gets a little tight there, Kel. It gets a nice knee bar going. Go ahead and tap the mat, too, so I can hear you. There we go. Once more. Nice. Now, this is just the beginning of my hold, the beginning of my power. Because I have my feet together, knees together, and I'm at 90 degrees, I can actually expand my body all the way back here as an energy source. So with this knee, once I get it nice and tight, I don't have to stop here. I can keep going all the way through. That's the real power of your submission hold, the real power of your knee bar here. So once again, feet together, knees together, nice and tight. I'm going to grab a good hold on the heel, top of the leg, and I'm going to push my hips forward and begin pulling that thing up. Now, there's nothing that has to stop me from going all the way and exploding all of my energy into the front of that knee. That's what a real knee bar is about. You get caught in a hold like that, and it's really time for you to give up. Let's, you know what, I'm in leg position. Why don't I show you some leg locks? We'll just move right on. We'll do some leg locks. I'll show you all the leg locks. So we're already here. It'll flow nicely. If I miss the knee bar, if he starts to spin around and tries to get out of this, I'm already in this position. Feet together, knees together, 90 degrees. So whether this knee is facing down or in this instance facing up, I still have a bunch of locks that I can keep working on. So we can use the knee bar, we can use the monkey roll to the knee bar to get into a bunch of different leg lock positions. Here's the ones I'll show you. They're real simple. First one I want to do is Achilles hold, and it looks just like this. I'm going to stick my arm all the way underneath his Achilles. I'm going to make a bar. I'm going to try and bend his foot over the bar. That's simple form for you, simplified form. All the way through, take away all the space. Now, same thing, feet together, knees together, hips up, and I can begin attacking the foot and the Achilles. There we go. All the way through. I'm going to keep this at 90 degrees. Notice my arm is 90 degrees. Good strong angle. Feet together, knees together, 90 degrees. Hips all the way up. Something popped in there, Kelly.
Yeah, that's a good hold.
Sorry about that. Okay. So I move from my Achilles hold. I can go right to my heel hold. Now watch the heel hold. It's real simple. I'm going to take a circle. I'm going to turn his heel up with my tricep. Now I got the actual heel in my hand, in the crook on my bone. Once I get that, I can grab it with my other hand and just slowly rotate it over. This is a really dangerous hold because it targets the knee area. It goes from the ankle to the knee, and you can do a lot of damage with it. So be careful with your partners, and be careful when you're training and sparring. Someone gets you in a heel hold, look at it, evaluate it. A lot of times, your tendons will pop before there's any pain. So be careful with this. Here we go. Tricep all the way around, heel all the way up, grab my own wrist, and I just turn this over. Ooh, that's a good one. All right. So that's my whole, heel hold. So we're Achilles hold, heel hold. They all follow in order. Next one's my toe hold. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn my body a little bit. I'm going to reach back right above his bones here. The last bone on his foot. I'm going to pinch right above that and crush all of his toes together. And what that does is it lines his bones up in his feet and locks them in place. So when I get up here and put a little push on that, all of these bones and tendons are now locked into place, and I can use my foundation and my leg to bend this right over and do a quick toe hold. So this is my toe hold. And if you want to add a little bit more, you can reach up and actually grab that heel, like the heel hold, and turn that as well. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's give your foot a rest there, Kenny. Yeah, so the leg locks are really simple. They all come from the same position. We use the monkey roll to get to that position. We made our first attack as the knee bar. Then I showed you some legs. We kind of played with that. Be very careful with the leg locks. They are very dangerous, but they're also very effective. You got to also know that when you have a shoe on, it's really like a handle. There's so much texture and grip on a wrestling shoe as opposed to a bare foot. Bare foot will slip out, pop out, you can strip it out. But that shoe is like a big, handle out there. And it's much easier to get a hold of. So be aware of that if you're going to practice leg locks, especially competitively. A shoe is a handle, and a foot is usually pretty slippery, especially when you get going. There's one more hold I want to show you from this dog position, and that's the shoulder lock. They combine together. The monkey roll to the knee bar and the shoulder lock flow together. And let me show you how it works. So I'm in my position here. Kelly, why don't you get behind me? Kelly's behind me. I have the option to go for the knee bar by putting it between my legs. Or if that's not good, or he's sitting me down low and I don't have a good hold, I can build power and reach around that shoulder, just like the shoulder lock we did earlier. Pinch that shoulder in tight. Grab his own wrist. Grab my own wrist. Now I have a good attack on his shoulder. And again, the way I'll make my attack, similar to the standing shoulder lock, is I'll actually throw my body out here. And I'll put this behind his back as far as it'll go. And remember, keep it close to the back and push it up as far as it'll go. Push it exactly where it doesn't want to go. Common mistake everybody makes, they get it going up here, and it's tight, but it's not that tight. This is where you want it to be. That's a really tight hold. That's your finish. How's that, Kel?
Oh, yeah.
That's good stuff. Okay, so let me show this hold from over here so they can see it from a different angle. Again, we're in the all-fours position. And here's your alternative. If you have space, go for the knee bar. If you're being held down and you don't have space between your legs, then go for the shoulder lock. Shoulder lock, again, will build a little power, which will enable me to reach up and around the shoulder, tight as you can. Once I get around the shoulder and I'm tight, grab his wrist, grab my own wrist, then I'm going to sit all of my weight out and put it on the mat. That'll drive his shoulder all the way down, and I can push it up behind his back. So here we go. Nice tight lock. Pull my back and all the way up. Yeah. Those are two great holds from the dog position from all fours. One, the knee bar. We showed you some leg locks, and as well the shoulder lock. Definitely, definitely very good holds. Our next technique is the standing side choke. Standing side choke is a great position, which always starts from a clinch position or a clinch situation, and usually ends up on the ground. So we'll follow the whole sequence, and we'll do the standing side choke. Then we'll show you the side choke on the ground, which is probably one of the best chokes you can do. So we're in a clinch position of sorts, and I'm going to push the elbow up. As I push it up, I lower my weight and step forward and place my head right here in the crook of his shoulder. This is my side choke position. Once I'm in tight, I'm going to pull this over, take away all the space, bring this arm up, figure four, and bring this your left arm, your figure four arm, bring it back as far as you can. Take away all the space. That way it's just a big squeeze, whoosh, and your choke's all there and ready. So again, we'll do it a couple more times. Clinch tight position. Push this up. As I push it up, I'm going to step all the way in and place my head in there. And I'm actually going to push my head into his body as I'm pulling this across. After I pull it across, take away all the space, figure four this arm. Here's my side choke position. Now let me show you from the other side so you can get a better shot of it. So turn around. You watch my body drive in there. Nice tight clench position. Elbow up. All the way in. Zero space. Nice figure four. It looks better. It looks a little different from the other side. You can tell my arm, the zero space, and how I'm pushing my head over there to make it really tight. Now, the dynamic of this hold is once you slap it on, you're both standing. So usually your opponent will kind of start twitching, moving, struggling, dropping to get out, or pulling backwards, one of the most common ones as well. Anytime he makes any kind of retreat, you should take advantage of it by reaching around his back leg and tripping him down. I'll show you how it goes right here. Again, my position, elbow up, all the way in, nice tight hold. I get my tight hold. He begins any kind of retreat. I'm going to step all the way around the back leg and just fold him right down. Now that I'm down in my side choke position, I'm just going to push all of my weight onto that arm. And again, no space. Watch my toes and my energy moving forward. I'm just going to slowly push it up on his neck so his own arm is choking on his neck. How's that? Oops. Kelly, you got to tap a little bit sooner. If you're not going to make it, come on. So let's break down the side choke from the bottom position. Tripping is easy. Just step around the leg. with your rear leg and make it so he falls down. I've even taken people and just thrown them down with the choke because they get so focused on the choke, they really forget about what else is going on. So lay down on your side here, on your back. The side choke, in essence, is, and this is why they call it a side choke, is I'm just taking his arm and pushing it across his neck from the side. I get my body weight and my energy from the side, and I push it down across him. The other arm is completely tight, and here I'm creating this triangle around his neck with my arm, his arm, and my body weight on the back of it. So this will move us to the side choke on the ground. Side choke on the ground is a great hold because it doesn't require any energy to do. It's all the weight of my body and the mechanics that I've created. So this is the position that we wound up in. Down here on the ground. That nice tight, no space, all the way through here. And you'll notice my body is 90 degrees to his body. It's completely out towards the side. That way all of my weight is directed on this arm. There's no way he can grab me with his feet or crawl onto my body and pull me around. All my body is out and away and completely sideways to his, hence the side choke. So I got all my space taken away. I can get two different types of holds in here. The important thing is that I'm taking away all the space and I'm pushing that arm across his neck. I'm actually going to use my head like another arm and push his arm across his neck. Once I get it over there, take my weight and I'll just slide it forward gently and right on top of that arm. You all right, Kel? Oh, yeah. All right, let me do it once more. So again, remember the head. It's like an arm. It helps push that arm in a choking position. So if it's not there yet, use your head and then push that weight forward. Remember the key points on the side choke. Don't be next to his body. Be completely sideways, pushing your weight across that arm. And don't worry about squeezing with your arms. It's really not going to help you that much. Worry about the mechanics of getting zero space and your hands nice and tight. Whichever hold you get down here, take away all the space, get it nice and tight, set your weight on the back of that arm. That is a side choke. Now I'd like to show you the dropping arm bar. Dropping arm bar is a sacrifice hold that starts from standing and ends up on the ground. The reason we call it a sacrifice hold is similar to the shoulder lock. You're actually going to use your body weight to pull him down and do the hold. And it has a setup at the beginning that really makes the hold work, and you can't miss the setup. I'm going to talk about the setup, do it from a few different angles, and get it so you understand it. The only way I can get him to come into me is by pushing him around. So when I push him, his natural reaction is to push me back. And that's what I want. I want to take that energy from his pushback. So I give him a little push. His natural reaction is to give it back to me. That's when my sacrifice comes. The important thing on your sacrifice is hang on to this guy's head so you don't fall on your back, and so that you can use him to slow your descent down. The other important thing is to bring this knee up and lay it across his belly as soon as you can. I'll show you right now. I'll give a little push. When he gives it back, I'm going to take the push with me, and I'm just going to sit down, holding the head and bringing the knee up. This is my sacrifice hold. This is the same armbar position we ended up when you armbar from the guard. And again, same mechanics. Heels in, feet together, knees together, and hips up. This is my finish. The important thing to remember on the falling armbar is you have to remain attached to this guy. You need his weight and his structure to control your descent, or you will just smash to the mat. If you've ever not held the head, you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you ever don't hold the head, you'll know what I'm talking about. You will fall right to the mat. So watch my hand on his head. I keep it hooked, keep it as tight as I can, keep this one as tight as I can. Just pull them both in and keep them hooked. When I'm ready to go, I'll give that big push. As soon as I get it back, I'm just going to let everything go. Fall into that position. There's my finish. The falling armbar, the dropping armbar, it seems like a bit much right now. But it's one of those simple holds that when you practice it and you get comfortable utilizing his body and your energy, it'll be really effective for you. Kelly, I think it's time. I think we're going to give him the Century Vision Super Slow-Mo exclusive. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
You can help me with this one?
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to slow it down for you so everybody can see. We don't have them fancy technology here. We don't need it. We have super slow-mo built into us. So here we go. I'll give him my big push. As soon as I get that energy back, elements are always the same. Give him that push, take his energy back, go to your position. If you have a good position, you have a good structure, it'll definitely work for you. Let me show you the chokes, the rear naked chokes, and the mechanics that are involved in the rear naked choke. A lot of people see a choke and you think it's just a big grab and squeeze on the head. There are a lot of fine mechanics that if you know them, you know the angles, your choke will be very effective with very little energy expended, which is what we're working on. So the full choke, as we're going to call it, is all the way across the neck and then all the way back up and taking away all the space in there and pushing down on the head. There's another trick you can do to get a really tight choke is don't just push with the flat palm of your hand, but push with your actual fist. Then you can use your face to push it down as well. Now this is the position of a choke. The real power of a choke comes in your back muscle, like when you're pulling a row. So I get my mechanics all lined up, and I'm going to take this elbow and that muscle in my back, and I'm going to pull it all the way back and row it. I'm not going to squeeze his head. That would use the energy of my arms. The arms are not that strong, but my back muscle is one of the largest muscles in my body. So that's the one I'm going to pull with. And there's a scissoring motion that goes when I make that pull. That's what the real choke is about. See, a lot of chokes that are just squeezing in here, they're not efficient. They don't last very long. As soon as your arms get tired, you're going to lose your position and lose your choke. Nice and tight, fist on the back of the head, push the fist down, take away all the space, and pull that elbow back with a big back row. And if you lift weights, or you're going to lift weights, it's right here. Bam, that's a big muscle and a lot of power. The second choke we're going to show you is the short choke. This is when you don't have fully across the chin, or you don't have time to get all the way across here, or he's blocking, he has his hands up, his shoulders up, and you really can't get around there. All you need to get the short choke is get your thumb across his neck. And it looks just like this. If I can just get my thumb to cross the other side of his neck in here, then I can do my short choke. So whatever's going on here, I'm just going to swing it around, get the thumb across the neck, and I'll lay my other hand across his shoulder, just like this. That'll give me this little fulcrum point where these two will meet. I can bend these any way I want. I want to then push my shoulder forward, my head forward, and take away all the space. Once all the space is gone, it's just a simple turn of this wrist and a curl of this one. Those are the mechanics that are going to make this choke really efficient and effective. Just right there. Now this choke is different than the first one. The first one is a full choke, which means I'm getting both of the veins in his neck and the air. This one specifically crushes the front of the trachea and the neck area. It's a little more intimidating to get choked by it. You usually get a quicker reaction because instead of the pressure on your blood, it's pressure right on your throat area. So I'm in a nice tight position, thumbs across, in tight, and turn that wrist down. Sorry, Cal. We give it one more, and we'll go a little slower. Here we go. Watch my wrists, turning it in slowly, slowly. And the wrist turns a lot, especially with this other fulcrum point that you have. So you can get a lot of energy out of it. Now this is the dynamics of a choke. The second thing you need is you have to have control of the person's body. The way you get control of a person's body is you wrap your legs around them. You actually control them by holding them with your legs. Hold them in position with your legs, get the position and mechanics of the choke, then you can execute and finish. Let me show a couple examples of how you would get to the back to do a few rear naked chokes. Let's go on your back, Kelly, and I'll start from a mount position. This is traditionally how we see people getting to people's backs and getting in position to do the choke. And it's because I'm in an advantageous position. I'm threatening him, choking here, punching, slapping, controlling, doing whatever. When he begins his turn, he turns his body around and gives me his back. This is when I can wrap my legs around him and get control of him. We call it the grapevine, or getting your hooks in. So what I want to do is I got one foot in already. As he continues to turn around, I'm going to throw both of my feet in there so that both of my feet are hooked into, the inside of his hips. And I'm actually riding on his back now. Once I get that control and I have both of my hooks in, I'm controlling his body. Once I control the body, I can go up to the head and begin my chokes, begin my manipulations up here. So you can get to the back from any position. It doesn't really matter. The most important thing is that you're getting your hooks in, getting control of his body with your legs, wrapping him around him of sorts. So I'm going to throw one in here, regardless of where I'm coming from. Get one in, throw the other one in, pinch them knees tight, grab my position of control. Right now I have his back, I've taken his back, and I can begin executing my holds, short choke, full choke. Usually what happens in a position like this If I can't spread him out and totally flatten out his body and ride his body out and break him down, he'll roll himself over for me to try and avoid the choke. That usually ends me up, somewhere like this, where he's rolled around trying to shake me off, and I end up on his back. What I want to do to get my really good base of power is I want to get him up as high as I can on top of my body, take away all of his hips and all of his movement, and then sink my choke in. Once I get the choke in from this position, it's easier for me to squeeze the knees tight, give that good pull, and scissor that head off. Remember, it's not the arms. I'm pulling with my back when these mechanics are in place. Short choke is exactly the same. This position, get him up on the body, get control, turn that choke in. Now, easy way to avoid the chokes are, don't let the hooks get in. Don't let him get control of your body. Even if he has my head in whatever position, squeezing, choking, as long as he doesn't control my body with his legs, I should be able to get out. So remember that if you're getting choked. We got some secret stuff for you. We got tips, tricks, and cheats. And they all have to do with submission holds, all the stuff that we just covered. The biggest tip I can give you is that you have to physically overpower anything or control anything with your body that you really want to do a submission hold on. And my example is this. If I just grab his arm, one arm against one arm, he's easily going to pull his arm out just by moving and manipulating. The power is basically equal. But when I grab with two, I immediately begin to overpower him, twice as strong as he is. That's what submission is about. If I want an arm, I have to physically overpower with my body, get a good solid position, hold that position, and then execute my hold. Now, speaking of executing your hold, all the power is in your hips, and you have to learn to harness that power. We always talk about feet together, knees together, 90 degrees. That's the base of a good submission. The second base is aiming that hip power so that it's most effective and most powerful. Now, I'll show you the position that I need to get that power going. This is your leg lock position. This is where we ended up for leg locks, for the knee bar, and for a number of other holds. This position illustrates how my power is going to develop. Feet together, knees together, 90 degrees, and my power needs to explode from here and travel on endlessly. Now my body is designed to do that. This is your power source, your power position for all of your submission holds. Now even if my feet are elevated or I'm on my back or whatever, I'm still trying to do the same thing. Grab down here, control tightly, and expand that power source. If I had an arm or a leg here, this would always be the exact same motion. Too many people make the mistake of straightening their legs out, letting their power dissipate, or opening their legs up and losing that control, and then losing all the hold that they just worked for. So the key to getting a really good hold, this is the tip of the century. Everything is in the knees and in the hips. That's where all of your power is. That'll conclude our program for instant submissions. How to lock on 5 guaranteed holds instantly. I thought I showed you a number of different holds. We did chokes, shoulder locks, arm bars, knee bars, and leg locks. A lot of different holds here. It's a lot of information. Take your time and study it. Remember the elements that are essential to do a submission. Feet together, knees together, and that hip power source. Drill, drill, drill. It'll take you some time, but you'll get it. It's going to be worth it, I guarantee it.